Alrighty, Roo, and cuckoo choo to you and all my nobodies not watching out there. I did feel the need to look up to see if I knew anything about Anderson Silva, and checked out some stuff and saw some fights, and like I actually sat there and like I watched like a short documentary even. I wouldn't call it necessarily a documentary. I didn't even finish it. It was just like going through like win-loss ratios, how they won, how they, whatever, blah 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 blah. And I don't think I watched something specifically about the 2013 thing that they mentioned. Um, but this is my synopsis as a person who has watched UFC and, considers myself a martial artist and likes martial arts and strategy, skill, all that stuff. It's like, it seems that this individual, Anderson Silva, I'm not saying they are not skilled or talented. They are. These are the pros of them. They do have a very good reaction time. They have a good ability to hit critical spots at the right moment. Those are with enough force to really like fuck up their opponent. Like, and you're down. Like, and this is happening. But the reality is, the majority of the fights that I saw, at least, that were covered in this thing, and they were trying to like quick cover, moving on, were their wins and losses, and just quickly. And it seems basically they get that one hit, and then use ground and pound, which is you get to the ground and you get them in the right spot, and then you just hit them until they have to stop, until they give up or the match stops, or choke out by like maybe 3 main techniques, mostly choke out, mostly submission, which is fine. It's a perfectly valid strategy. The reality is, those are the pros. That's all great. The cons are, this motherfucker looked like they actually went out of their way to make sure that they actively stayed just underneath the weight class that they should be in, because they're like actively taller than almost any competitor that I saw them with. Like, not by a small amount. They are, and maybe that's their body type or whatever, but it looks like it's a deliberate aspect, deliberate choice. Because the reality is, if you're 6 inches taller than your fucking opponent, even if they can hit you harder, their arms, their kicks, their legs, their arms, they don't have that same reach. So you just get to sit there, and it makes it much easier to get the fuck out of the way. So even, especially when you have quick reaction time, which I saw, he does have quick reaction time, or did, or whatever. I don't know what's going on now anymore, but I saw it. Like, there's quick reaction time. It was basically like, that's not going to hit me. It's like, it's not a real, in my opinion, it's like, that's one thing I always thought was strange about like sports like this. It's like, you shouldn't just be a matter of weight, like back in the day with like, the Olympics with wrestling and boxing and all that shit. You go back far enough, there were no weight classes, and it was basically like the biggest guy pretty much gonna win, except for with, I think his name was Melon Colmus. There was a Fact Fiend video about him, and I think it was Melon Colmus. And they were just like, this motherfucker didn't throw a punch. He was a beautiful ass motherfucker who just sat his entire time just dodging till they got tired. And that was his way of winning. Just like, nope. But in general, it was basically like, people punch each other and the bigger guy's gonna win, and that's just how it is. the stronger, bigger guy. Eventually, we came up with the concept of weight classes. That's a thing. Totally understand. Makes sense. But I also feel like there should also be a height thing, too. Because that's relevant. Because people like this exist where they're going to be like, as long as I only work on this, I min-max myself so that I don't go over the weight, I will always have the reach advantage over anyone. And if I have fast reflexes, like anybody who does this would need to, I get an extra benefit by the fact that 3 inches or whatever of distance that they have to travel more than I do, probably they have to travel even more, makes it complicated. And that it sort of fucks up the physics. So it basically just leans in the favor of that person. Doesn't mean that you can't be beaten, blah, 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 blah. That's not how it works. But he sort of comes off as a glass cannon, sort of min-max towards this thing. That did have a valid strategy and used it, but it was sort of like, I call hacks. Like, you're not necessarily cheating, but you are going out of your way to be in a place that you probably, like, gain an extra 10 pounds of muscle and participate in the next level up and see how that works out for you. It probably won't, because you're going to have to deal with people like you, your size. Fight somebody your own size. Pick on somebody your own size. That doesn't mean that he didn't have a valid strategy, it didn't work, he wasn't following the rules, blah, 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 blah. I saw a lot of fights and stuff, and there were some where I was like, this guy's got reach, he has precision, he's got reaction, and he's got power with precision at that right moment. Can he soak damage very well? Not super well, but that's not the whole strategy. He took some good hits, and it's not like he's a full-ass glass cannon. He's not. He's not a fucking wizard level 1 D&D. 4 HP. Like, he can actually take some hits, okay? But there is a whole-ass strategy to the way he wins. And it makes it very difficult for anybody that would want to beat him in that weight class. Because basically they have to overcome, it's almost like a no man's land, dead zone, to get what they need. And some people did. I saw one where somebody got him real good, and it fucked up his leg. It was like, oh, you're injured, we're done, this is done. I think that broke his tibia. It was bad. But it's like, I'm not saying that he was a bad fighter. I'm saying he's a person who deliberately seems to have sort of made it so that they were playing in a place they shouldn't have been. Because technically they should have been the next place up, and if that had been the case, they probably would have got the shit kicked out of them so consistently. It's like being that kid who, it's like, I don't know how much this actually happens or if it's just a movie thing, but it's like, oh, there's that kid who's been held back for 2 or 3 years, and they're really good at the sports that we play, and they just dominate because they were already big, and now they do that, but technically they get to play, and they're just hurting people left and right, And it's just like, to me, look, did he have to win? Yeah, he had to fucking win, and he used strategy, He had a good stamina. I saw one time where he's fighting somebody who's much smaller and realizes these things. It's like, they want to win, they want to do the thing, and he just sits there and circles them. He just circle strafes them. Because when you're in the center of the circle, and you're having to follow and keep up with your the thing inside the little gel, the fluid in your ears of spinning around makes you more disoriented when you're in the center than you do when you're on the outside looking in, focusing on a thing. And he knew that, and he was working it. Like, his taunting, his using of that sort of thing, it's all valid strategy. You know, he's got the stamina to do it. You know, there were times where I saw some shit that he did. I was like, dude, that was actually fucking amazing. Somebody, the person I was watching that was making the commentary, it's like it was in the Matrix. It was like people throwing fucking shit at him. He's just like, nope, nope, nope. Like, just like fucking Neo. Just like, nah. And that's what it looked like. But he also gets the benefit of that person being smaller than it. Like, there were a few people he fought that were his size or around that probably had the same idea, but he has really good reaction time. And then he has like a lot of genetic factors and training and plans and strategy that fits that. So I respect that. But it's also like, you really shouldn't even be playing here, because I don't think it's fair. It's like, you're like almost like a foot taller than this guy. Yeah, you guys weigh almost the same amount, so if he hits you, you know, but then you go back to like back in like 80s movies where like a big kid holds back a little kid who's trying to hit him, and they're just like, they hold their hand and they just can't fucking hit him. Basically, it's like that. When he couldn't do that, like, he got a lot of knockouts just by that. He got a lot of unanimous decisions, TKOs, blah, blah, blah. But he got a lot of stuff where it's like, he took him to the ground, and somebody who is that much larger than you is very difficult to grapple with, because they have more freedom of movement. And mostly he would just get a good fucking solid hit after, you know, playing with him a bit. They go down and he ground and pound, and then they're done. That's it. That's how it seemed to play out. So, I didn't see the one about the 2013 where he got his ass kicked and somebody just saw him. Maybe I did, but there was like a lot of shit going on, and I just kept watching and watching. It's like a 30-minute video. I respect the skill, but I also would be like, I don't think the rules should be that way. Like, he shouldn't be fighting most of these people in the first place. That's my opinion, because, like, respect to you, you know, manipulating and the system, but I call hacks, you know, like, you're not cheating, but you're literally, and everybody's trying to do that, you know, everybody's like, oh, well, I'll do this or that, but, like, also, he did get, like, a lot of stuff where he's like, oh, you win, or this happened, or that happened, and it's like drugs were involved. Like, there's, like, a blood test, and they're like, oh, well, you don't win because you had a level of testosterone indicating that you were, you know, using steroids or something. Actually, watching him fight, I respect it. I just think it's like watching somebody min-max or metagame or something. It's like, you really shouldn't be playing against these people, because you shouldn't be fighting them, because you're not playing the same game. You're playing a game specifically where you're on, like, you're not on anything like real equal ground. They're fighting an uphill battle, and you're on the uphill. You know, don't try it, Anakin. And it's like, it also is weird that he, like, the guy that in this game was like, oh no, it's Snake versus Spider, and I made that point. It's like, apparently Silva was known as like the Spider or some shit like that. Like, there was like something to do with him that had something to do with that. So I just wanted to say that, just because I actually did look it up and look into it and think about it and watch it and observe it. He kicks some fucking ass. He's a skilled combatant. But in a sport that is intended to be somewhat fair, he, like many other people in every sport ever, has gone out of his way to, it seems from my perspective, actively, in my opinion, allegedly, make it so that he's basically as close to the next level you can be without being there, so he can still do that. And I know that there is some that I watched some stuff, it seemed like he did move between levels and stuff, but it seems more like he did that for more like to like get other, to sort of like spread his territory, like, oh, I want to be the champion of this or that or this or whatever. So I'm just saying that, you know, that guy, in my opinion, did not represent him very well, and the bully, because he didn't seem like a very big guy. So if he like worshipped that guy and like tried to follow after him, it's like you should have found somebody more your body type, because the reality of his style is you know, like in a life or death fight in a normal way, not a sport, you know, you do what you do, whatever, that's that. But this is a sport, and he was doing it seemed like he was doing everything he could to not quite break the rules, and then still did break the rules quite a bit, and still got his ass kicked every now and then. But that's probably because he kind of got older and he just kept doing it. Like, I remember the thing that he got, like, his fucking tibia fucking wrecked. I think it was like 38. It's like, this is not a, you know, you should have probably been done at that point, you know. But you know, we fought or whatever. It's just, I just had to do a thing. I had to do the thing. I don't know why. I don't need to go to the club. I'm gonna go check out this person. I just had to say it. He lowers his eyes awkwardly, thinking how to proceed with his rant. Some dude. So it's like the conversation isn't really smooth, yeah? Like, it's like, I keep throwing shit against the wall and seeing what sticks, but nothing seems to stick for long. You understand, yeah? You look like hipster Harry Potter, but not as cool. For sure. Yeah, I'm just gonna say yeah, because he said yeah twice. Yeah. It's really like this lack of context that's killing me about online dating. It's bad enough when a few photos and a single sentence are all you have to rely on starting a conversation, yeah? No, online dating is terrible. I haven't really done it much, but I've heard about it, seen some stuff, and it's just like, people are like, I'll just put 2 sentences. Here's a picture of me. Here's a picture of my body. And it's like, is that even a picture of you? And if it is it a picture of you in the last, like, 3 years? Some people put pictures of themselves, and it's just like, it's a picture of 4 or 5 people, and they don't say which one they are. It's like, okay. And then there's like a way to hack the algorithm by being like, oh yeah, no, you just have to be outdoors near something that looks like a sport. If you're near a boat or you have a fancy car behind you, it doesn't even have to be your car. You're just going to get more hits. You have a dog or an animal, but particularly a dog, like, that all makes you just do better. It's like, is that your dog? Maybe. Do you even have a dog? Maybe. Is that your car? Probably not. Maybe. Is that your boat? Maybe. Like, says very little, but people still, whatever, fall for it. But when a cosmic miracle finally happens, and she's willing to keep replying to you, and she's, like, actually down to meet up eventually, and you're there sitting with her, and then after 90 minutes, you still don't know, have that shared context, just no clue whatsoever. It's just like, take me out and put a bullet in my head. Put me out of my misery. Like, He's just like, wow, I spent all this time trying to get to know this person. I thought it was cool, and then it's just like, actually meet this person. It's like, there's still nothing there. What's going on? Why? There's no context. Who the fuck are you? You can tell who he is. He's the type of person who's sort of androgynous, older than he looks. Likes Harry Potter or wears glasses like that. Wears turtlenecks and brown long jackets. Not a terrible looking dude, but looks kind of lame-ish, I guess. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of the color brown, okay? And he's got so much brown going on. Like, it's just all the brown. Like, I just don't like the color. I just don't think it's very great. Because it's, like, the most average thing. Most things are brown. The world is brown. Things are brown. Brown, 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 brown. And it's not a terrible color. There's some very nice versions of it, but brown is just not particularly pleasing. I'm just going to go with I hear you. That's what he wants. So it's just one of those dates, and it's like, we've been sitting here for ages, and the only thing she has prolonged interest in is getting as hammered as possible. Just one drink after another. It's just like, look, if she's buying the drinks, then it's not your problem. But I do get the issue there. And it's like, okay, you know, like, nothing's happening. You could just be like, hey, it was nice meeting you. I don't think this is right for either of us. And I feel like, you know, you'd probably have more fun if I weren't here, so I'm gonna head out. And the more drunk she is, the more familiar she's getting. It's these little things, you know, touching my upper arm after each joke, her arm around my shoulder, her jokingly pausing. It's like, she just wants to get drunk, horny, and fuck you. Is that the worst thing in the world? I mean, you might not like that, and I'm sure, like, I understand. You know, you seem like the type of person who doesn't want to just get used for my body. I get it. It's also pretty uncomfortable in the sense that it's like, well, you wouldn't have fucked me before this, so now that you're drunk, you're all over me, and it's like, there's still nothing happening. This guy actually wants to date somebody. I'm going to feel bad from feeding from this guy, aren't I? This escalation is subtle but steady. In addition, one reoccurring topic appears, and it's all about the cool shit she has and wishes she could have shown me. Oh, too bad. It's all back at her apartment. I actually kind of, like, respect this guy. He's like, dude, I just want a fucking relationship. I want to know somebody. I want to get to know you. I want to understand you. I don't care about your shit. I don't care about all that shit. I just fucking tell me who you are and let's make a connection, instead of it being like, I'm gonna get hammered. Come back to my place so I can fuck you. Then we'll never talk again. It's fine. That's when it hits me. She just wants to fuck. Or sleep with me. Well, yep, nope, that's, yep. This happens with Tinder. No way! I could have just kept saying, I'm just gonna be like, no way! But I'm gonna say, this happens with Tinder. Yeah, well, you meet somebody on Tinder. Yeah, this happens sometimes. Yeah, well, eventually we both ran out of ideas for topics that could potentially be interesting to the both of us, so I'm just like, yeah, I'd sure love to see all that crap in your apartment. So we Uber there, and it's admittedly a pretty nice apartment, like, nothing too fancy, but I can tell her dad is the kind of asshole I'd like to punch in the face if I ever met him. Know what I mean? I don't like how much I'm agreeing with that particular paragraph. So she guides me to the kitchen and makes me some tea, a rare Indian blend. I forgot what it was 5 minutes later. Then she excuses herself, goes to the bathroom, and doesn't come back. Alright, now I'm concerned. She doesn't come back. She better be, like, lingerie and on the bed and stuff, and like, oh, hey. It's business. It's business time. Or please don't let this turn into Pulp Fiction. Where like, damn it, now I gotta get you somewhere so you don't overdose. 10 minutes later, I run out of tweets to read, and I become a little concerned. Start looking around. The first thing that catches my eyes is the kitchen table. Go on. See, her body language seems like she's interested. She's kind of playing around with her cross. She's either very uncomfortable or potentially like interested in like what he has to say and just sort of fidgety. The table is surprisingly large and it's covered in neatly arranged documents, like connect the dots investigation board, mafia conspiracy kind of thing. Naturally, I take interest. Are you about to be like, so, have you heard of Huey Lewis in the news? Like, Jesus. It takes me 20 seconds to process what it is. Her entire mental health history, sorted chronologically, with all the juicy stuff neatly underlined in color. And I mean entirely. It's all there. Who does that? Why? A detailed description of her fucked up household situation over the years. Anxiety, ADHD, bouts of depression, suspicion of schizophrenia, severe BPD, some weird psychosexual stuff with her brother. So is she gonna kill you or tie you up and make like what's going on here? I keep reading and reading and remember what I said about throwing shit against the wall and seeing what sticks. I'm dead certain that's how her shrink went about diagnosing her. She finally comes out of the bathroom, like an hour after she went in. At this point, I've read all the shit on the table 3 times, and not just the stuff she's highlighted for my convenience. And I feel like, right now, I understand her better than, like, someone who's read Crime and Punishment. Understands, don't know how to say that. And I'm not happy about that, like, at all. You know what I mean? It's like, isn't this what you wanted? You wanted to know her. She gave you a fucking roadmap, conspiracy board of her insanity. And now you're like, oh, I got what I wanted. Well, I don't like that either. It's like, real talk, bro. If you did the same thing, what would yours be like? Oh, wait, you wouldn't be because you're probably homeschooled and weren't allowed to go see a psychologist and then psychiatrist, and you did, and then it didn't work out immediately because every reason it wouldn't, and you don't really believe in that as much. So yeah, now you're here and this is that and whatnot. I didn't say uh-huh. She walks in with a cheerful hi. I respond with a slick all good. She nods, does this weird finger gun thing, and chuckles. I pretend it's I've been doing work related stuff on my phone the whole time. Sounds like would she be gone for an hour? Like what is she, like cooking up some horse in there? Like got a spoon and got the whole setup or gear and stuff, and then she like did it, then nodded off, came back and was like, wait, I was supposed to get fucked. What happened to that? Where'd that guy go? Also, why did I leave this conspiracy board of everything wrong with me and my whole past history of psychology there, even if it's accurate or not? Small talk starts. A minute in, she casually picks up one of the documents on the table and starts doing these super obvious body language cues that are like, oh no, how did this get here? This just keeps going, and it's like, okay, so the writing in coteries was bad? This is not bad, it's just like, what is happening? Like, I don't even know, like, if this guy is telling the truth, I have, like, are you about to be serial? There's 2 options. There's like 2.5 options here. Either you're about to get fucked in a very good way, harder and better than you ever have, as long as you're down for it, or 2, you're about to get Huey Lewis